Okay, so now I'm gonna trick this thing out a little bit, add a couple of new components. Also, just looking at it here, first thing I want to do is I just want to, with it in object mode, I want to scale it a little bit in the x-axis, just to stretch it out, make it a little bit flatter. If I look at this from the front view, a little bit more. My top view here, my 7 key, yeah, it's looking pretty nice. My side view, 3 key, okay, looking pretty good. Back into perspective view here. Now, what I want to do is I want to line up some jet engines here. So I'm gonna use a cylinder to create my jet engine. So I'm gonna click Add Mesh Cylinder, and in order to do that, you need to make sure you're in object mode, or you're going to be really frustrated when nothing happens. So make sure you're in object mode. Add Mesh Cylinder, and that puts a cylinder in here. And just for the moment, I'm going to hide my plane and take a look at the settings on this cylinder right here. Um, I'm going to drop the vertices down to 16. And I'm going to give it a rotation in the x-axis of 90 degrees. Why does that keep happening? And I'm going to switch to the scale tool, scale that out in length, get a top view, get my move tool, move this thing out here towards the wing. Now, I want to do some things to this cylinder to make it more look more like a jet engine. Just in the z-axis, so just grabbing this little square right here, I'm going to scale that down, make it a little smaller. Look at it from the front, see how it's looking here, just from a front view. That's about the right size. And you look at it from the side view. Flip to the other side. 3 puts you in a right orthographic view, 3 on the number pad. Control 3 puts you in a left orthographic view. And looking at that, and 7 top orthographic. That's looking fair. All right. And on this cylinder, I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier to it and run the levels to 2. But let me actually jump out of that just for a second. This brings up an interesting idea on because I still want to maintain this front nose here. Maybe what I should do is, all right, I've got it. I'm going to get into edit mode, selecting polygons, get this polygon on the face. Hold down my shift key and get the polygon in the back. And then on these polygons, I'm going to do an inset these polygons. And then I'm going to scale tool, scale them in Y. Oh, hey, that's pretty nice. And maybe even scale them in X and Z, and then scale them in Y. There we go. Yeah, that looks kind of like the scoop of a jet. All right. Now, let me get back into object mode. Let me put a subdivision surface modifier on it now. Much better. Oh, that looks much more jet engine-like. Run the levels up to 2. I will shade smooth it so it looks nice and smooth. That's got a good look. Okay. Now, there's a decision, on where exactly to put it. If I'm in a front view right here, I might tuck it right up underneath to make it look like, part of the frame. Maybe out on a wing. Scale tool. I want to scale it back out. I want it to have that length. My move tool. Move it up. I want it to be kind of in contact with the wing. It is, but I don't want it to be protruding. I might make it protrude a little bit through the top of the wing. And then let me hide my, and this thing that's called cube at the moment, I'm going to call my plane body. And this cylinder I have sitting here is going to be my, I believe it's the right engine. And I want to do something with this thing. So getting into a side view here, I'm going to get to edit mode. All right, back to object mode. I'm going to go ahead and apply that modifier to this object. So when I go to edit mode now, all that detail's been pushed into the model. And I'm going to grab the vertices, and I'd like to grab all the vertices along, let's see here. There, the front of my aircraft is right there. Control 3, Control 3, Control 3, there we go. Flip me around, plane body back in there, okay. And then I'd like to grab these front vertices right here and pull them back a little bit. Oh, it's going to look terrible. We turn on X-ray mode. Okay. All right, so what I just did is I turned on something called proportional. I moused over this, it's going to say proportional editing fall off. What this is going to allow me to do is I'm going to zoom in. Well, I have that side view. There we go. Nope. This side view. And then my selection tool. I only want to select some of the vertices right down here at the very bottom of this whole thing. Let me see if this is going to work. Yeah, it's moving all that stuff back. So I'm just grabbing these vertices right here in the very front. Let me slide this whole thing down so we can see the front edge here. Just got this couple of vertices right here selected right at the very front of this thing. And I'm pulling them back. And it's proportionally, I'm going to turn that off now that I've done it. And take a look at it. Yeah, nice. Just gives that a bit of a different look. All right, cool. So that's one engine. I can get out of edit mode here, go back to object mode. And now that I've got an engine that I'm happy with, I can go Shift D to duplicate it, hit my escape key, and grab my move tool. And then let me check out something here. This one's located at negative 3.918 NEX. So I believe if I take out that minus symbol, just take out that minus symbol, that's going to move the copy right over on the other side, perfectly lined up just by using the transform. So now I've got a couple of jet engines in here now on my model. So some jet engines included here. Now I'd like to put some kind of a weapon system in here. So for me, I'm just going to kind of make it simple. Let me get back on my plane body and let me get into edit mode and let me take a look at the very front of my plane. All right. One. Now looking at this right here. My selection tool. polygon faces. All right, I got 4 polygons on the front selected right here. And I'm going to get extrude region and extrude these out. And I'm going to get the scale tool and scaling it in X and Z. Scale it down. All right, that'll do. I've got a spot to line up with my fire transform when I get it. So there we go. I've got a weapon now on the front. And go back to object mode. And I'll take a look at what I've done here, in the front view. I've added some jet engines. I've added a weapon system. Did a little more modeling here to create the jet engines. And, you can add other things that you might want to add. You might put the weapon in a different spot. It's kind of up to you. Hopefully you made some of the shapes a little different than I made it. Make it yours. All right. That's it for this one.